Well guys, the government, Sadiq Khan and the Met have shamed themselves once again, showing the two-tier system that we currently live under. The Extinction Rebellion group appear to have been allowed to stand next to the Cenotaph, posing for pictures with their banners and laying a wreath with yet more ridiculous nonsense on it. They even drafted in some former soldier to give them a little bit of credibility, but to be honest, I don't really care about him that much. He knows he's an embarrassment to the uniform as it is. The point of this video is the hypocrisy of the powers that be for allowing it while they blocked off the Cenotaph on Sunday, preventing the public from paying no respects, showing to me it's one rule for them and another for us it seems. But the Mirror claim to have the exclusive, likely because they support this crap 100%, so let's see what nonsense they have written in their article. It headlines, Extinction Rebellion put climate change banner and wreath at Cenotaph on Remembrance Day. Exclusive, Extinction Rebellion activist Private Donald Bell, who served 4 tours in Northern Ireland, has staged a climate change protest on the Cenotaph on Remembrance Day. Now obviously they should be allowed to protest, I'm not saying they shouldn't, providing of course they're not blocking the roads as they usually do. But sticking this climate change act now means war bullshit on the Cenotaph is an ultimate piss take if you ask me, and it appears many people actually agree with me. Hours before official remembrance ceremonies are to be held, place a banner which read, "Honour their sacrifice, climate change means war." Now I have to say there, as I read that as it is written, it doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? How does a professional news organisation cock it up that badly is a question I have to ask. These people are paid solely to write this shit. How do they get it that wrong? What it should say is, hours before official remembrance ceremonies are to be held, Extinction Rebellion placed a banner which read, "Honour their sacrifice, climate change means war," and it was placed over the iconic memorial, and a wreath of poppies sporting a slogan was put on the memorial itself. There is something seriously wrong with whoever wrote this piss poor article. It goes on, the protests are likely to be highly controversial and cause fury. Well, no shit, Sherlock. But not so much at these tosspots here, though they do deserve it, more so at the government, Met Police and Sadiq Khan for letting it happen when they literally put barriers of police around it last week, or should I say on Sunday. After the banner was hung, British Army veteran and member of Extinction Rebellion Donald Bell observed 2 minutes silence before hanging the wreath. Now I've got no problem obviously with him observing 2 minutes silence or hanging a wreath, but one with that stupid bullshit on it I do take issue with. These people did not die for this bullshit, you stupid cuck. A short while later, police officers removed the wreath. Well done to them for doing that. I'm surprised they didn't stand there, take pictures with it and bend the fucking knee. Private Bell, who was caught up in a car bomb blast in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, said he wants to make a warning about the global climate crisis and how it may lead to more armed conflicts. What a complete and utter load of bollocks that is. The only thing that's likely to lead to more armed conflicts is fucking politicians. They are the ones who do it every single time. Joe Biden could well be starting the next one, as you might well see. Private Bell told Mirror Online the government is criminally negligent and young people today will pay the price for their failure. Well, that is the first thing he said that is 100% correct, but I doubt it's for the reasons that he is suggesting. The government is clearly negligent when it comes to what they're doing this year, and young people will pay the price for that. As for climate change bollocks, I am not so sure. Goes on talking about how he did 4 tours of Northern Ireland. No one really cares about that. That's not why you're in the papers today, and it certainly wasn't why you went down there. You went down there to make a political act, let's be honest here. Many of the people who attend the Remembrance Day service have never seen the horrors of war. I hope they never have to. However you feel about the action today, I want people to take this message. If we don't deal with this climate emergency now, it will lead to war. No, it probably fucking won't. That is just the shit he needs to say in order to get himself in the paper. The 64-year-old who was badly injured in a car bomb blast in Stewartstown in 1974 urged the government to pay close attention to a report published earlier this year for the Ministry of Defence. It warned of an increase in unrest and conflict as global heating causes droughts and food shortages. No, governments of the world locking down their cities are likely to do that long before climate change does. I took action today knowing that I would be criticised, he continued, but wanted the press, regardless, and his masters had told him he needed to do it. I know that I would be accused of being disrespectful and hated by many for speaking out in this way. Not really hated, just considered an embarrassment to the nation, to the military, and to those who have died. Remembrance Day is never an easy time for veterans, and this was not an easy decision for me to make. No, I wonder how much you are going to get paid for doing it, or what little bit of support you will get for making yourself look like an arse. He goes on, but I serve this country, I serve the people of this country, and the action I took today is about just that. What a complete and utter load of shit that is. Unchecked climate change means a return to a world at war. I cannot stand by and let that happen. It is my duty to act. Which I'm sure you would all agree is rather laughable considering Boris Johnson is fully signed up to this green agenda that's a complete load of bollocks and is going to cost us an absolute fucking fortune. Which explains perfectly to me why Extinction Rebellion are generally allowed to get away with this sort of shit while veterans will be kicked to the floor if they try to get to the Cenotaph. Private Bell has echoed Extinction Rebellion's demands for the government to declare a climate crisis, a citizens' assembly to be formed, and greenhouse gas emissions to be reduced to net zero by 2025, which is completely fucking impossible and nonsensical. Or should I say, not completely impossible, but it will practically fuck the country over more than the government is doing now. It goes on, it is likely that the veterans' protest this morning will be met with a strident reaction. Well, no shit, Sherlock. In September, activists were arrested after the statue of Winston Churchill in central London was graffitied. At the time, Mayor Sadiq Khan said this appalling vandalism is completely unacceptable, while allowing the protests to go on regardless but cracking down on anti-lockdown ones and any that can be done by the working class. Home Secretary Priti Patel has been even more damning of the group, describing them as so-called eco-crusaders turned criminals. Brexit campaigner Darren Grimes was unimpressed with the protest. He said, "Truly shameful, Extinction Rebellion have placed the climate change means war wreath upon the Cenotaph. These privileged prats seem to be doing all they can to turn public opinion against them. Well, they don't really need to do that too much because most of the public think they're a privileged bunch of wankstains, let's be honest here." Another Twitter user wrote, "Extinction Rebellion really know how to lose support for their cause. Their members are now designated to the rank of scum. They need a new PR representative." Private Bell said, "I'm going to be one of the most hated veterans on the planet for some time. At previous protests, I had people telling me I should be ashamed to wear my uniform. Well, I ain't gonna tell you that, but I expect many veterans probably will. But the real shame here, if you ask me, is on the government, the Met Police, and of course Sadiq Khan for letting this happen while stopping veterans on the weekend, as I've said. But let's be honest here, this is nothing new for the snivelling shitweasels that are the powers that be."
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.